So, AEW Rampage continues to be probably the easiest watching hour of wrestling on TV, and this past episode was no different. I thought it was a fun episode, but not a lot. It was basically an extension of last week's Dynamite, where it felt like the show was there, but it wasn't as big as like other shows. But again, we're like grading on like this massive curve that it sounds like I'm down on it, but you know, AEW sets such high standards for their shows that a good show seems like a letdown sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so we had a few things of note on this show. One was the finals of the number one contenders for the tag titles match. So we had that. We had we actually had an in-ring segment with Miro. We haven't had one of those for a while. We had a okay match between Tay Conti and the Bunny, and of course we had a whole types of fun shenanigans with Kenny Omega and Brandon Cutler versus Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian. That at this point, Brandon Cutler I have to say, is a genius at this point.
A wrestling genius.
A wrestling genius. So,
stooge.
Yeah. So, what did you think overall about this show?
Pretty good, fun show. A couple of things sort of missed with me, but they weren't major things. The Lucha Bros getting the jobber entrance, that seemed to be a miss. And then I know it was a taped show, but I am curious what they cut out of that match, because there was a commercial break in the middle and it was not picture in picture.
Yeah, that's I noticed that when episodes of Dynamite were taped during the pandemic, that sometimes the match would go picture in picture, sometimes it wouldn't, and sometimes it'd be partial. So they go to picture in picture for like 90 seconds, and then like the last 90 seconds went straight to commercial or something. So you'd have a 3-minute commercial break, but only half of it was taken up. So it's kind of weird how they timed it out. I'm not sure how they are producing the show to come up with their timing to figure out how long matches go, what they're going to cut, or what if they're not going to cut. So a little strange, because we did have the past 2 Rampages were not taped, and they did have matches run through the commercial break in split screen or picture in picture, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it was a little different when they had to do it as a taped show. I'm curious if they did part of Rampage before they had Dynamite and then like taped a match after Dynamite or something like that. Because when they started with Dark, basically what Dark used to be when it first started is what Rampage looks like now. You have 3 matches, and then you have some other segments. And they would do like 1 match before Dynamite and then 2 matches after Dynamite for their taping of Dark. I'm curious if they do that with Rampage or if they did it all after Dynamite was over.
Yeah, good question. But my thinking is, if anything was cut, and it's possible nothing got cut, but like something definitely did, because when they came back from the break, the people weren't in the same spot that they were before the break. I'm just thinking they could have actually given the Lucha Bros an entrance instead of doing the jobber entrance of already in the ring. I am fairly certain that the crowd got an actual entrance. But yeah, those 2 things just seemed a little odd. But yeah, it probably is all just production stuff.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into the show, let's introduce this show. You're listening to the That's Wrestling podcast. If you're listening to this as a podcast, we do this show live over on YouTube and on Twitch. So you can follow the links in the show notes to those channels. Also, I try to put out the links to the YouTube video and to the Twitch channel when we go live over on Twitter. So you can follow us on Twitter at That's Wrestling 1 with the number 1. You can come hang out within our Discord. The link is in the show notes for that as well. Drop a review on your favorite podcast app of choice and all that fun stuff. And with me back tonight, I have Darryl W. Perry. How's it been going over in your neck of the woods?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Survived the hurricane that didn't really actually be a hurricane for us.
Yeah.
But we might get some of the remnants of whatever the thing is that just smashed into Louisiana.
Yeah, usually we just get the a lot of rain. And I think we talked last time, like the hurricane of 38 is the only one that's really kind of come through New England and done damage. And, you know, we're at what, 82 years ago at this 83 years ago at this point. So
yeah.
they're rare that they come up this way with any force. We can maybe get a category 1 sometimes, but that's doesn't do much, especially because we're so far, well, I'm a little more farther inland than you are, but since we're surrounded by mountains, if it's coming up from the south, it has to go through Connecticut and then it has to go through Massachusetts, and all that mountainous area kind of slows it down pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this show. We kicked off the show with the Jurassic Express and the Lucha Bros, and as Darryl mentioned, the Lucha Bros ended up getting the jobber entrance. That is, they did not get a full entrance on TV. They were already in the ring when the show started. As you said, I'm guessing that the crowd got the full thing. The Bucks, once again, they watch from the top of the ramp, and
zebra stripes. Those are zebra stripes, not tiger stripes.
Did somebody say tiger stripes?
Yeah, I forget. It was one of the announcers. It wasn't Excalibur. One of the others, and it wasn't Jericho because he yells everything. But yeah, somebody called it tiger stripes.
All right. Jungle Boy and Phoenix started off, and Phoenix was just bonkers in this match like usual. I mean, he was just like bouncing around, flying around everywhere. They fight to a stalemate. Then we have Penta comes in. He tries to chop down Luchasaurus with shots to the leg, kicks to the leg. We get a breakdown. Everybody gets hit with super kicks, and we have a quadruple down, and then we have a commercial.
Yes.
So going into the commercial, we had everybody down, and then coming out of commercial, Jungle Boy and Phoenix are both hitting dives on the other guys, on the other team's guy.
Yeah. So, one thing that you missed in that first sort of segment of the match, if you will, Jungle Boy and Phoenix do the handshake, and they're about to, go to their separate sides to tag their partner in, but Phoenix just doesn't let go for half a second, just to sort of let Jungle Boy know, like, I could still get you. I didn't this time, but I could.
Once we have the dives, Luchasaurus hits Penta with some strikes, German suplex. We get a double clothesline to both of the Lucha Bros by Luchasaurus. We get a tail whip kick to Penta, then a choke slam onto Phoenix using Penta's body, and then we see the standing moonsault from the big guy for a 2 count. Phoenix tags in, uses his speed against Luchasaurus, hits a frog splash for a 2 count. Jungle Boy tagged in, hits a lariat and then a poison Rana for a 2. Tiger driver and then into the snare trap. Penta comes in and kicks him right in the face to break it up. No, back of the head.
You got the head.
Yeah, you got him in the back of the head. There was another match where he kicked the dude right in the face. This one was the back of the head. Penta tagged in, hits a Made in Japan for a 2 count. Jungle Boy escapes the package pile driver. Then we have Phoenix and Jungle Boy. They fight up top on the top rope. Phoenix hits a top rope Rana, sending Jungle Boy off the top rope down onto the floor into Penta and Luchasaurus.
This started as Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt holding Penta for Jungle Boy to, throw himself off or do something. Phoenix then walks the middle rope to then fight Jungle Boy and then does the Rana. So that explains why everybody was just standing there, is because they were, they being Luchasaurus and Marco were holding Penta for another move, and then instead of them moving to where only Penta got the brunt of Jungle Boy flying off, everybody just stayed there. But I like when there's setup and rationale for why everybody is standing there when somebody flies out of the ring or off the top rope.
Yeah, if you're gonna huddle, then have at least one team or whatever holding the other guys in place. And that's why they're all huddling right there. Not they're just all standing in a group looking at the dude up there.
Yeah. But yeah, Phoenix has just amazing balance skills to where, normally when he's walking the middle rope, he's got feet on both sides of the top rope.
Yep. Uh-oh.
To balance himself.
Yeah.
But this time he had both feet on the inside and he was just walking. And it's like, how do you not fall?
That happened. What match? What did that happen on Wednesday's match where he was holding somebody's hand and no. I saw it on Dark. Colt Cabana, you know how Phoenix sometimes does the assisted, similar to how Undertaker did the rope walk. Well, yeah. Well, Colt Cabana did that with Phoenix, and then Colt Cabana's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna let go," and then Phoenix just stands there on the top rope, not moving, that doesn't matter if you let go of me or not. I'm still gonna stand here. It was pretty awesome.
Great.
All right. So Jungle Boy gets Rana to the floor onto Penta and Luchasaurus. Phoenix and Jungle Boy then later fight on the apron. Penta runs in, hits Jungle Boy with a destroyer on the edge of the apron. That takes him out. He is out.
Hardest part of the ring,
except for the ring post. Phoenix hits a destroyer on Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus pops up at 1. And then the Lucha Bros both hit Luchasaurus with a ton of kicks. And then they hit double super kicks when he's on his knees. We see the Code Red power bomb for a 2. And then they hit the assisted Fear Factor, and Lucha Bros get the victory, and they are going on to face the Young Bucks at All Out in a cage match.
Yeah. And then after the match, we have shenanigans.
Yeah,
where the Bucks, and I forget if Cutler came down. I think he did. And then Nakazawa just sort of appeared from somewhere. And was the Nakazawa bit later?
That was later.
Okay.
So they beat up the Lucha Bros a bit, and they bail right as Jurassic Express realizes what's going on, and they pop into the ring to help. So nothing happens to the Bucks. They bail before anything happens.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, and I realize that this is speculation for basically a week from now, but a week and a half from when the show aired. will the Jurassic Express possibly come out to sort of counter any interference from other elite members should they decide we're going to try climbing in the cage?
Yeah, well, they announced for a Dynamite it's going to be the Bucks and Good Bros versus the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express on Dynamite this week.
And that's a match I think I told you I needed to see.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe we'll get some more clarity after Wednesday.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when they announced that, I'm like, that's the match that Darryl wanted to see. So we're getting that match.
Good.
Next up, they had a CM Punk versus Darby Allin video recap. Basically, it was just a commercial for All Out, recapping everything that we've pretty much already seen.
And I'm fine with that.
Yep.
I wish that they would do a few more of those commercials for things we've already seen and show them at the beginning of the show. And I actually had a thought of, instead of just having generic B-roll as the background scenes for the opening song, use some stuff from the last show to sort of catch people up if they don't want to do, here's a recap of previously on.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's all I've been hounding that ever since they started. It's like, okay, right at the beginning, do a previously on that's going to bring us up to speed for what we're about to see on the show.
Yeah.
Next up, we had a Miro segment, and he makes his way out to the ring, but he is tossing Fuego del Sol out of the tunnel, and he drags him down to the ring, and he's in the ring, and he grabs a mic and says, "You, Fuego, you accepted something that you shouldn't have. I said I would forgive you, but first, reveal your face to the Lord." And Miro yanks off Fuego's mask, and Fuego covers his face with his hands, and with it, he can't see anything, and Miro super kicks him right in the face with his hands covering his face. So Fuego's not having a good time. And then Eddie Kingston's music hits, and he walks out to the top of the ramp. He has a microphone. It looks like he's about to start saying something, and then he just decides, nah, screw it, drops the mic, charges into the ring. And then
his head backwards.
What?
He turned his head around backwards first. That's how you know he means business.
There you go. And he makes his way down to the ring, and then we have a pull-apart brawl between the two of them.
Yeah. I am wondering, because it looked like after Fuego rolled out of the ring that he went under the ring. I'm assuming that one of the refs then gave him his mask so he could put it on and go to the back.
Or there's a towel or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I never even thought about it. Fuego del Sol, does that mean sunfire? Or the fire of the sun?
Either. I did Google Translate because I was curious, what exactly does this mean? And both of those came up as possible translations.
Just like La Sombra can be either the shade or the shadow.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we had Tay Conti versus the Bunny. And the Bunny attacks Tay before the bell even rings. She stomps her down in the corner, hits the sliding forearm in the corner for a 2 count. She hits a rising knee for a 2. Then we get some strikes from the Bunny. Bunny rakes the eyes. She rakes the back. She chokes Tay Conti on the bottom rope. Tay starts to make a comeback, hits a few judo throws, and around the world facebuster. She hits 3 running boots in the corner, hits a Tay KO, and when she's setting up for the DD Tay, Penelope Ford has run down to the ring. She gets up on the apron, and unfortunately, Tay Conti gets distracted by this and lets go of the DDT. And while she is dealing with Penelope on the apron, the Blade tosses or gets the brass knuckles to Bunny, and the ref is trying to get rid of Penelope. So behind the ref's back, Bunny punches Tay Conti with the brass knucks, and she turns around. The ref turns around and counts the pin. So the Bunny wins here, and it looks like Penelope Ford is joining the Hardy family office. Maybe. Uh-oh. Did I lose Darryl? Oh, my connection went down. Oh, it's probably it's on the it's on the Discord side again. I don't know why the Discord server does not like me for some reason. So Darryl, if you're talking, here, I'm just gonna disconnect and reconnect if you can hear me.
There we go. Keep talking.
I restarted. You're good. I can hear you now. All right. So I haven't heard any.
Kip is out.
What?
Since Kip Sabian is out for some amount of time, and Penelope seems to, do best when interacting with other people. It does kind of make sense for her to join up with another faction temporarily.
Yeah.
But maybe it's one of those keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer sort of thing, and she'll start feuding with Bunny at some point.
Possibility. Kip Sabian should be back soon, I would think, but I'm guessing the first thing that's going to happen is he and Miro are going to have some interaction. So unfortunately, he can't come back to be with Penelope unless he is cleared to actually get physical. I think it's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, and to quote Mark Henry, it doesn't matter if you know karate if somebody else knows crazy.
So the match was fine. It was just a shine, heat, and comeback. It was basic, but it was fine.
Yeah, fun match.
And everybody loves Tay Conti.
Yes.
She was super over.
Yes. And, this definitely helps build up some storylines for the Casino Battle Royale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they run down the all-out card is pretty much full. We have the Women's Casino Battle Royale on the buy-in. And what we have announced for the main card, most likely all of this is on the main card, is Miro and Eddie Kingston's confirmed for the TNT Championship. We have the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros in a cage match for the Tag Team Championships. We have Britt Statlander. We have Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander for the Women's Championship. We have Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. Pac versus Andrade, Moxley versus Kojima, MJF versus Jericho with Jericho's wrestling career on the line, and CM Punk versus Darby Allin. So 8 solid matches for the card.
You forgot one.
Did I?
Paul White versus QT Marshall.
Oh yeah, I didn't have it down.
I'm guessing will probably be on the buy-in.
Yeah, I'm not sure. One of these matches is probably going to be over on the buy-in with the Casino Battle Royale, because we're sitting at 9 matches besides the Battle Royale, so that's 10. So
yeah,
I'm not sure what's going to go over there.
The only other match that I could see being moved is possibly the Moxley Kojima match.
I was thinking possibly Pac and Andrade might be moved.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Yeah. Because Mox is so over, you want him on your main card, but at the same time, there's not a whole lot of storyline behind that particular match.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of up in the air, because you figure Paul White, QT Marshall, that would be on the pay-per-view because it'd be the first match for Paul White in like 2 years. And the other ones that aren't title matches, we have Pac versus Andrade and Moxley versus Kojima, and then of course MJF versus Jericho. That's obviously got to be on the main card. Same with CM Punk and Allin. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So either they announce one more match, or they move one of these onto the buy-in.
Yeah. They also talk about Dynamite. Dynamite, we're going to have Brian Cage versus Powerhouse Hobbs. We have a video package hyping up that match. We're going to have Santana Ortiz versus FTR. We have a Jericho interview, an MJF interview, and then we have the Young Bucks and the Good Brothers versus the Lucha Bros and Jurassic Express. So we have those 3 matches announced for Dynamite. I'm assuming they might have... I haven't checked their Twitter, but I'm guessing there's at least one or 2 more matches to come.
Yeah, let me actually do a quick search and see what I can find.
Cool. While you do that, I'll talk about the split screen that they did with Mark Henry. Again, Mark Henry seems to lose a ton of charisma doing these things, but so we have a split screen with Mark Henry, and then we have Omega, Brandon Cutler, and Don Callis on one side, and Kazarian and Christian on the other. And Mark asks Omega if he's afraid that Kazarian and Christian might injure him, and Don is like, what kind of question is that? You know how worried we are? We have the biggest jackass, no talent as his partner. Referring to Brandon Cutler. And he says, no offense. Kenny says, you know what this is? This is just public exercise. Is there risk of injury? Sure, but that's the only way you have a shot. And how this is going to go, I'm going to pick you up, drop you in your head with one winged angel, and I'm going to keep my championship. Christian says, look, injuries happen, but injuries aside, I've already hurt Kenny Omega by taking this the Impact Championship from him. And remember, I'm the only one who has pinned you in the first 2 years. As far as Brandon Cutler, it's just more carny bullshit from Don Callis. And then Frankie says, hey, Kenny, do us a favor tonight. Why don't you actually get into the ring and not just throw us your bitch-ass man-baby stooge?
Yeah, I'm really liking the split screens. I just wish that Mark Henry would use some of the charisma that we know he has.
Yes. It feels like he's lost when he's just talking to a camera.
Yeah. And there is one other match announced for Dynamite that wasn't mentioned. That's Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans.
Ah, yes, I see that right here.
So he is continuing his feud with the Hardy family office.
Yeah. So we have the final match of the evening, and that is Christian Cage and Frankie Kazarian taking on Kenny Omega and Brandon Cutler. When the bell rings, we immediately get a piece of shit chant directed at Don Callis, which is funny. Kazarian beats up on Cutler and drops the body in the corner, wanting him to tag in Omega. Kazawa pulls Kenny's leg, and this is when Omega attacks. They exchange chops. Christian's tagged in, and Kenny bails and tags in Brandon again. Christian punches Cutler in the face a few times. Kazarian hits the springboard leg drop, kicks him in the face. Nakazawa hits Kazarian with a laptop on the outside. Kazarian walks down Nakazawa, but when he turns around, he gets laid out by Kenny Omega. We then get Omega tagged in to fight with Kazarian. Omega hits the You Can't Escape for 2. Brandon Cutler wants the tab. He does a dab elbow drop, and he's like dancing all around the ring. Christian gets tagged in, and Cutler crawls to the corner, but Omega jumps off the ring. Omega tries to attack from behind, but it doesn't work out for him. Christian hits a bunch of punches, a reverse DDT on both Omega and Cutler. Kenny pulls Christian's leg and crotches him on the post. And Cutler holds up Christian for Omega to hit a V-trigger, but Christian moves out of the way, and Kenny gives Cutler the V-trigger. And then Christian wants a kill switch on Omega, but Omega drops out and bails. And Christian spears Cutler, hits the kill switch, and Kazarian keeps Kenny away up on the ramp while Christian gets the pin. This was just fun stuff, and Brandon Cutler is the best stooge.
Yeah, and noticeably absent from commentary was Don Callis, and they referenced at the beginning of the match Mark Henry just by his presence, and that explains why Callis wasn't on commentary. Because a 5-man booth would have just been unmanageable. A 4-man booth is bad enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it when Callis is on commentary, but yeah, 5-man just would not have worked because like everybody's trying to get their one-liners in already. Mm-hmm. But he's also good down ringside, causing distractions or attempting to. I want to see him get hit with all of the moves by everybody because he's just got that punchable face. And he gets good heel heat just by existing.
Definitely. Did you ever go back and watch the Kazarian Brandon Cutler match from Dark?
No, because I forgot what match it was you told me I needed to watch on Dark.
It's that one. It's great. It's definitely worth a watch. It's fun.
Yeah, and there were post-match shenanigans on this, right? Or was that during the match?
There was just the shenanigans during the match.
Yeah, where Nakazawa tried hitting Kazarian with the computer, I think it was.
Yep. Hit him with a laptop.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah. Overall, it was a fine, quick 1-hour wrestling show that did what it needed to do, and looking forward to having at least a live Rampage again next week. Though we'll probably be going back to mostly taped Rampages after next week, but that's fine.
I hope it's not mostly taped, but if it is, that's fine too. Just I hope they try to not give us commercial breaks during matches unless they're doing the picture-in-picture, which if you're watching on the fight stream is just the match. It's not, here's a tiny little thing up in the corner, but listen to the commercial and then you can't pay attention to what's happening. But yeah, and I wish that Dark was as easy to watch as Rampage.
Yes. Dark used to be easy to watch before the pandemic.
Yeah, and a lot of it, like Taz is not bad on commentary normally, but I think because he knows it's not being, broadcast on television, he's a lot looser. And yeah, just the commentary on Dark sometimes makes it unwatchable.
Yeah, I tend not to. Well, when I kind of just put it on the background and I'm watching, or I'll jump on the treadmill and I'll be like paying attention to some other piece of audio, but watching the video. But it is what it is. Yeah. As far as ratings go this week, Rampage, of course, back down to what's probably going to be roughly around their normal level. They did 722,000, but they did top the night on cable. So they had the highest demo rating on cable on Friday night. So that's pretty damn good for a 10 o'clock time slot on a Friday.
Yeah, and if you think about it, 10 o'clock Eastern is basically prime time on the West Coast.
Yeah, but it's delayed, I think. Depending.
Ew, okay.
The Dynamite is delayed on the West Coast, and Rampage is delayed on the West Coast most of the time. So it airs in that time slot, but it's delayed, so it's not live.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you've got, I know certain cable packages and satellite, you can choose whether you want the East Coast feed or the West Coast feed to watch.
Correct. Yeah.
So, like, plus the fight feed using a VPN so that it doesn't look like you're in the United States of America. There are ways to watch it live without watching it when TNT says, "Oh, you're watching this later."
Yeah. So they did 722,000, which is actually down 20,000 from the premiere episode, but it was up in the rating, 0.34 this week to a 0.31 the previous week, with 20,000 less overall viewers. So the audience skewing younger, still. So
good.
May get them while they're young. Get them while they're young. Other than that, anything else you want to touch on? Did you see the promo that Christian and CM Punk and Frankie Kazarian did after the show went off the air?
I watched about half of it.
Yeah, it was about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it was only like 5 minutes, but I watched the first half and was like, I get the gist of it, and cut it off. But yeah, like it seemed to be just one of those after the show, send the crowd home happy, bring out CM Punk, let him, talk and give everybody a reason to cheer.
Yep. It's pretty good. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap it up here?
When do we wind up Saurus singles push?
Sorry, you clipped right. I think you said, when do we get a Luchasaurus singles push?
Yes.
I don't know. That is a good question.
Or at least just give him like a singles match for the TNT title.
Has he even gotten one? I can't even know. I don't even remember him having one against any of the champions.
He hasn't.
Oh, okay. So my mind is not failing me here. So yeah.
Yeah, Jungle Boy, of the three guys in Lucha Express or Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy's the only one to get a title shot.
Yeah.
In singles.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know how old he is. Do you have any idea how old he is?
65 million years.
In human years? He's 36. He's not that old.
Luchasaurus needs to give Red Velvet some lessons on standing moonsaults.
Yes, he does. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. Thanks everybody for tuning into the That's Wrestling podcast. If you're listening to this as a podcast, we do this show live over on Twitch and on YouTube, so you can follow the links in the show notes for that. Follow us on Twitter at That's Wrestling 1. You can follow Darryl at Darryl W. Perry on Twitter. And all the good stuff is down in the show notes. So links and Twitter and all that fun stuff. So just head down there. So for Darryl W. Perry, my name's Eric LaRoche. You've been watching and listening to That's Wrestling. See you later.